somewhere. Hey, let's go to the NFL for a second. Derrick Henry, he's not going anywhere anytime soon. The Ravens have agreed to a 2-year, $30 million extension with a 5-time Pro Bowl running back. Derrick Henry joined the Ravens as a free agent this past season. Last season, as an older running back, he is now 31 years old, second in the NFL, though, with 1,921 yards on the ground, a league-high 16 touchdowns, helping the Ravens to a 12-5 season and a division title, although they did not get past the Bills in the divisional round of the playoffs. Well, let's welcome in. Hello, I can speak. Kyle Long, Lige Douzable here. We're going to go talking about quarterbacks and running backs. Year 2 of Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. Kyle, I'll start with you. What do you think we can expect this season?
Probably more of the same. First off, it's good to see you, Amanda. I know you've been rehabbing the hell out of that D. It's great to see your face in studio. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. It's such a problem for defenders, particularly second-level defenders, when those two, either of them can get the football on any given play. And I think with what they accomplished last year and getting to watch it as a football fan, you know that there's going to be more wrinkles in that offense. So I do think that they retain their potency and maybe get even a bit more potent. And at 31 years old, getting $15 million a year at the running back position, he is an enigma, an anomaly. Leger always tells me, is this normal or is this the exception? I think Derrick Henry's the exception. I think we see another great year from him in Baltimore.
Yeah, Kyle, it proves the work that he puts in the offseason. Nobody works harder than Derrick Henry. You see the highest paid running backs by average annual value. And right there, Derrick Henry at $15 million. You said it, at 31 years old. Usually teams are trying to get rid of backs once they turn 28 years old. But you asked earlier, Amanda, what's the next step for the Baltimore Ravens? And to me, it's Super Bowl or bust. When you look at this team, for 2 consecutive years, Kyle, it's almost like they forgot who their DNA was when they got to pivotal games in the playoffs. You go back 2 years ago to the AFC Championship game, their identity is running the football. They didn't run the football. Last year in the divisional round versus the Bills, Derrick Henry, the guy that we just talked about who got the extension, 8 carries in the first half. That's not the DNA of the Baltimore Ravens. You go back to an earlier game where they played the Bills. They had 271 rushing yards. So to me, it's Super Bowl or bust. And also, the Ravens cannot forget what their identity is. Yes, Lamar Jackson was out of this world. Over 4,000 yards passing, over 40 passing touchdowns with fewer than 5 interceptions. But do not, offensive coordinator Todd Monken, do not forget the DNA of your team. It's running the football, especially in inclement weather.
It's interesting you bring that up because earlier I was looking at the stats trying to compare Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry, and really they weren't that different in the fact that Saquon just got the ball so much more. So let's talk about Saquon and the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. And look at this, most rushing yards by teammates, 2 yards separating. Yes, I'm doing that right? Yeah, 2 yards separating Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts and Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. I mean, this is the team that did go to the Super Bowl. They won it. Can you ask for anything else, Lige, between these two guys?
The biggest question mark isn't those two players. It's new offensive coordinator Kevin Patula. Let's not forget 2 years ago, they lost their offensive coordinator, Shane Steichen. And that 23 season was a lot of ups and downs when it came to that offense. The thing is, mostly everybody on offense came back. The only person that didn't come back was their guard, Mekhi Becton. So they're going to have the same cast of characters on offense except for the play caller, which we've seen in history really be a bugaboo for teams when you're trying to, integrate a new system into that offense. Now, they'll probably have a lot of the same schematic things, but every coordinator wants to kind of put their own handprint on the offense. So to me, the question mark isn't what are we going to see from Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. It's Kevin Patula, the offensive coordinator. What are we going to see him so he can continue to right the ship with this offense in Philadelphia?
Yeah, you know what, Lige? It's like when you're talking to an architect or you're looking at different houses in the neighborhood. All these people are using the same materials, but with the right mind, with the right game plan, you can come up with something unique and beautiful. And with these weapons that they have in Philadelphia, coupled with that offensive line, there are so many different directions that the new offensive coordinator is going to be able to go in. One thing I think we can be certain about is that Jalen Hurts will build on that Super Bowl. He played his way into the conversation of the elite quarterbacks in the National Football League. So I think they can rest on that. We know that the offensive line will make it easy for anything that they try to get accomplished. And I heard you guys arguing during the break about, who had more touchdowns, Saquon Barkley. Derrick Henry. It doesn't matter because when they get the ball in the low red zone, they just go tush push. Do not be fooled by the touchdown numbers or lack thereof for Saquon Barkley. The guy should have 50 touchdowns a year, but because they've got the cheat code and the tush push, they just follow the glutes and hamstrings right into the end zone.
Well, to that point, Kyle, could that almost be voted on and voted against in the next couple weeks in the league meetings? That would be something to watch because, as you alluded to, that's one of their best weapons when they get into the low red zone, or not even in the low red zone, on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. It's an automatic first down with the tush push. If the NFL bans that, it'll be interesting to see what their switch up to the tush push would be because that's been a really great weapon for that Eagles offense.
I will tell you the touchdown numbers are not that much different. He had 13 compared to Derrick Henry's 16. So 3 less, and that's it. So maybe those numbers are a little bit.
Coming season, some games that we are so excited about, and we're going to dive deep into the games you're most looking forward to in the 2025 season. So one of the most exciting games in the playoffs last season was a divisional round showdown between Baltimore and Buffalo. We all watched it, a game that was decided by Mark Andrews' drop 2-point conversion. It was a 27-25 Bills victory. Lige, you ready for the matchup?
Oh, this is one I'm really excited about, JD and Kyle. You talked about it, JD, right? At the end of the game, even though Lamar Jackson had 2 costly turnovers in that first half, he had a chance to right the ship, but Mark Andrews drops a pass with 1 minute, 33 seconds left on the clock to tie the game up. He was wide open to the right of the pylon, and it just went through his hands. So this game also signifies the 2 top candidates for the MVP. Let's not forget, they finished 1 and 2, and it was the closest in the vote for the MVP since the 2003 season when Steve McNair and Peyton Manning shared that award. And you see it right there. Most regular season wins in a 7-year span. We got the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. Last year, this game was not only played in a divisional round, but it was played early in the season. I guarantee the schedule makers, because there's going to be playoff ramifications, will put this game later on in the year because seeding in the playoffs will matter when it comes to this game. I'm so excited for this one. Again, both of these guys finished 1 and 2 in MVP votes. And again, this will probably be one of the best games of the season when it comes down.
You always wonder if these games will actually turn out how we expect them to turn out. A lot of times they do, sometimes they're duds, but high expectations for that one. Kyle, looking at your top matchups, no shock here. You have the Bears facing off against the Commanders. We're still waiting on the date of that one. What excites you about that one?
Well, there's so much to look at and to try to digest when looking at this matchup. It's 2 teams that are trying to turn over a new leaf. And when I talk about new leaf for the Commanders, it's finish even better than you did last year. And for Commanders fans, you got to be part of a real magical journey with Jayden Daniels being dominant from day 1 with the Washington Commanders. And I was watching when the Hail Mary happened. We call it the Fail Mary in Chicago. Since then, the Washington Commanders were 9 and 4. They made a historic run into the playoffs. So for Commanders fans, they're going to have their eyes on, are we going to take the next step? And that's really tough to do. You can ask Lige this as well. When you have such success, it's tough to match that. And on the other side, obviously, the Chicago Bears 1 and 10 since that Hail Mary. Brutal. Finished with a win against the Packers. Gotta love that. 2 young star quarterbacks. The league understands this, and you saw that with the matchup that Lige was talking about. Bills, Ravens.